Cyclone Biparjoy made landfall near Jakhau port in the Indian state of Gujarat on Thursday evening. The cyclone caused widespread rains, storm surges and damage across Gujarat's western coastline. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi called up Gujarat's Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel to take stock of the situation. The cyclone is now heading towards the Indian state of Rajasthan. Ukraine's military has claimed that it has regained control of over 100 square kilometers of territory during their counteroffensive. It has also said that Russian troops have been forced out of 7 settlements in the eastern region of Donetsk and in the southern region of Zaporizhzhia. However, Ukrainian troops continue facing strong resistance. This includes intensified Russian missile and airstrikes, artillery and mortar attacks. Russia has again told the United Nations Security Council that it wants an international investigation into the explosions at the Nord Stream gas pipeline. The pipeline connecting Russia and Germany was rocked by explosions in September last year. Russia has repeatedly been asking and accusing the West of masterminding the explosions. On the other hand, Western governments and Ukraine have denied any involvement. The head of the United Nations Atomic Energy Agency has said that there is enough water available at Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant at the moment. The statement comes after last week's devastating breach in the Kakhovka Dam on the Dnipro River. The nuclear plant uses a cooling pond to keep its 6 reactors from potentially disastrous overheating. The Kakhovka reservoir was used to refill the pond before it was breached. According to the CIA, several US federal government agencies have been hit in a global cyber attack by Russian cybercriminals. The CIA also said that several hundred other companies and organizations in the US could also be affected by the hacking spree. The news adds to a sprawling hacking campaign that began 2 weeks ago. It has also hit major US universities and state governments. Trouble is mounting for a US Air National Guardsman accused of leaking top-secret military intelligence records. 21-year-old Jack Douglas Teixeira has now been indicted by a federal grand jury. He faces 6 counts of willful retention and transmission of classified information relating to national defense. He was arrested in April after allegedly posting highly classified material on the messaging app Discord. The US state of Texas has signed into law a controversial bill banning transgender athletes from competing on some college sports teams. The Save Women's Sports Act requires athletes to play on the team that corresponds with their gender at birth. They needed to do so regardless of their gender identity. The new law also allows civil lawsuits against colleges and universities over suspected violations. The US Treasury Department has imposed sanctions on 2 China-based North Korean nationals. They're accused of being involved in the procurement of equipment and materials for Pyongyang's ballistic missile program. The latest reported North Korean launches came as South Korea staged military drills. Pyongyang had warned the exercises would be met with an inevitable response. South Korea's military has released still photos of rocket parts used in North Korea's failed satellite launch. North Korea failed to launch its first military satellite on May 31st. The satellite's booster and payload plunged into the ocean. South Korea has been conducting operations to salvage the parts off the country's west coast ever since. Japanese lawmakers have adopted a legislation to raise the country's age of sexual consent to 16 from the current 13. The bill cleared the Japanese parliament's upper house in a unanimous vote. The legislation also clarifies rape prosecution requirements and criminalizes voyeurism. Japan's age of consent had been unchanged since 1907, with children aged 13 and above deemed capable of consent. Pakistan's government has shared ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan and several other PTI leaders' social media profiles with the country's Federal Investigation Agency. The profiles have been shared to conduct a forensic test for allegedly sharing controversial anti-state content between March 8th and May 9th. A total of 23 links from Instagram, Facebook have been sent to the FIA. The FIA is the premier agency of Pakistan at the national level to investigate federal crimes. The United Nations has said that it is appalled and deeply shocked at the killing of Sudan's West Darfur governor. The Sudanese armed forces have attributed this act to the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group. They're accusing the RSF of kidnapping and killing the governor on Wednesday. On the other hand, the RSF has denied any involvement. It has also called on all tribes in the region to form an emergency committee in an effort to tame the flames of clashes. The president of Venezuela's National Electoral has announced that he would resign along with seven other members. The resignations come months ahead of the country's upcoming 2024 presidential election. The reasons behind the resignations are still unknown. The country's opposition has long alleged that the council is biased towards President Nicolas Maduro's ruling party. Mexico is in the grips of a heat wave. This is the third heat wave of the year for the country. Temperatures in some northern regions of Mexico have peaked to over 45 degrees Celsius. This heat wave is expected to last for 15 days. Local authorities in Mexico say that the El Niño climate phenomenon could be the reason behind recent mass bird deaths. Around 300 wild birds were found dead along Mexico's Pacific coast. Bird flu was initially suspected as the cause. However, authorities later confirmed that the reason is likely the warmer ocean waters resulting from El Niño. Latin American countries have been experiencing extreme weather ranging from freezing snow to sweltering heat. Snow and ice damaged crops in Bolivia's largest agricultural region of Santa Cruz. Temperatures in Bolivia's Tarija region dropped below 0 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, as we mentioned earlier, Mexico has been caught in a late spring heat wave. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called out fossil fuel companies for hindering climate progress. He said that the world must phase out fossil fuels in a just and equitable way. Guterres added that fossil fuel companies must cease and desist measures that aim to kneecap the UN's climate goals. Climate activists tried to deface Claude Monet's painting at Sweden's Stockholm National Museum on Thursday. Climate activists of the Restore Wetlands movement put red handprints on a screen protecting Monet's painting. The activists then highlighted the need to ban peat mining and restore the wetlands. The painting on loan from the Orsay Museum in Paris is unharmed, and the activists were arrested. A tornado in Perrytown in the U.S. state of Texas has left wide-scale destruction in its wake. The tornado tore apart trailer homes and uprooted telephone lines and electricity poles. Traffic in the area came to a standstill due to the damage. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has warned of more frequent extreme weather in the country. Trudeau said they are currently going to focus on getting through this year's wildfire season. Canada is seeking to boost its readiness to tackle wildfires. The country is facing its most destructive start to the wildfire season ever. Over 48,000 square kilometers have already been destroyed due to the wildfires. On to business news now. According to reports, American software firm Oracle has laid off hundreds of employees. It has also cancelled existing job offers and cut back on open positions. These are within its health unit Cerner. In December last year, Oracle acquired Cerner for nearly $29 billion. This was the technology company's biggest deal ever. The US unit of cryptocurrency exchange Binance has laid off some employees as well. Reports say around 50 people have been dismissed. Positions in the legal, compliance and risk departments have been impacted due to the cuts. This comes shortly after the US sued Binance last week. The company has been charged for carrying out illegal business practices. The US Federal Reserve and the markets regulator are investigating Goldman Sachs. This is regarding its role in two deals with the Silicon Valley Bank. They're investigating Goldman for improper business processes related to the deals. These deals were done before the regional lender collapsed earlier this year. Ride-hailing firm Uber has said that it will shut its food delivery business in Italy. The company will also cease its taxi operations in Israel. This is because the company has failed to sustainably grow in the regions. In Italy, Uber Eats falls behind market players like Deliveroo and Just Eat. Meanwhile, Get Taxi and Yango are ahead of Uber in the Israeli cab services market. Confectionery and snack giant Mondelez says it has scaled down its Russian operations. The company has discontinued new capital investments and product launches. Mondelez now aims to transform its Russian business into a standalone entity with a self-sufficient supply chain. This will be done before the end of this year. However, unlike its peers, Mondelez has no plans to close or suspend its Russian business. American investment firm BlackRock has filed for a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund. An exchange-traded fund is a type of investment that operates much like a mutual fund. However, unlike mutual funds, ETFs are traded on a stock exchange. Bitcoin ETFs are pools of Bitcoin-related assets offered on traditional exchanges. This comes at a time when countries globally are strengthening their oversight of the cryptocurrency industry. Space tourism company Virgin Galactic is launching its commercial spaceflight service. The first spaceflight, called Galactic 01, is planned to launch between the 27th and 30th of this month. Following this, another flight, Galactic 02, will be launched in early August. Shares of the company soared 55% on the news. Google's parent Alphabet has issued warnings to its employees about how they use chatbots. This includes its in-house chatbot, Bard. The company is advising its employees not to enter confidential material into AI tools. This is despite the tech giant marketing its program around the world. In Norway, electric trucks may soon be used to deliver mail. Postal company PostNord is partnering with Einride to make the trucks. Einride is a Swedish electric vehicle maker. These trucks will cut back on 930 miles of fossil fuel deliveries per day. Audiences were amazed by an AI version of the celebrated Dutch artist Vincent van Gogh. Artificial intelligence allowed people to speak to the painter. This was done during a tech show in Paris. The AI Van Gogh and robotic exoskeletons were some of the highlights of the show. Moving on to sports, in cricket, the Pakistan Cricket Board's chairman, Najam Sethi, expressed happiness after Asia Cup participants accepted the hybrid model for this year. This year's Asia Cup will be jointly hosted by Pakistan and Sri Lanka. India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Nepal will compete in 13 ODI matches from August 31st to September 17th. While 9 matches will be played in Sri Lanka, the remaining 4 will be held in Pakistan. England will be taking on Australia in the famed Test tournament, the Ashes, from today. The last time both sides played the tournament in 2021-22, Australia beat England 4-0 on home turf. This year's Ashes will be played in England. Australia were recently crowned World Test champions after beating India in the finals of the ICC World Test Championship. In football, Spain beat Italy 2-1 in the UEFA Nations League semi-final. Spain's Yeremy Pino smashed a goal in the 2nd minute. Italy's Ciro Immobile scored an equaliser in the 11th. After a gripping first half, Spain's Marto Joselu scored an 88th minute winner. Spain will now face Croatia in the finals on the 19th of this month. Italian league champions Napoli have named Rudy Garcia as their new coach. However, the length of Garcia's contract has not been specified. Garcia had earlier managed Serie A club AS Roma from 2013 to 2016. He also coached the Saudi Arabian league side Al Nassr last season and led them to second place in the Saudi Pro League. French striker Kylian Mbappe has addressed rumours about his future. He said that staying at Paris Saint-Germain is his only option. This is despite him choosing not to extend his contract at the club. In tennis, world number 3 Daniil Medvedev exits the S. Hertogenbosch. The S. Hertogenbosch, also known as Den Bosch, is a Dutch tennis tournament. Medvedev lost 4-6, 6-4, 6-2 to Frenchman Adrien Manarino. Manarino had previously won the Dutch tournament in 2019. In squash, India's Joshna Chinnappa beat Japan's Satomi Watanabe. Joshna has paved her way to the semi-finals. India is hosting this year's Squash World Cup. India will be reaching the semi-finals of the tournament for the first time. In badminton, India's HS Pranoy and Kidambi Shrikant qualify for the quarterfinals of the Indonesia Open World Tour. The Indonesia Open World Tour is being held at Jakarta. However, Indian star and double Olympic medalist PV Sindhu has been eliminated from the tournament. Moving to Formula One, Sebastian Vettel is set to make a comeback for the Red Bull Formula One event in Nürburgring this September. The 4-time world champion had briefly appeared in the Monaco Grand Prix last month, but other than that, Vettel had retired from the sport at the end of last year. Ricky Fowler and Xander Schauffele shared the early lead after a history-making opening day at the 123rd US Open. This is the first tournament after the shock merger of the PGA Tour and LIV Golf. Rory McIlroy, the face of the PGA Tour's war against LIV Golf, also performed well. Actor Al Pacino has welcomed a baby boy with his girlfriend Noor Al-Falah. His son is named Roman Pacino. The 83-year-old actor has become a father for the 4th time. Al Pacino already has 3 children with former partners. Jennifer Lawrence has returned to acting with a comedy film called No Hard Feelings. Lawrence had taken a break from acting between 2019 and 2021. She then devoted her time to her son, who was born in 2022. No Hard Feelings will release on the 23rd of June. The animated superhero film Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has been banned in the UAE. This is due to the country's censorship regulations. It's been reported that a scene involving a transgender flag that reads "Protect Trans Kids" is the reason behind the ban. Marvel Studios' superhero film The Incredible Hulk is coming to streaming platform Disney+. The film will be available from the 16th of June. The Incredible Hulk originally released in 2008. It stars Edward Norton, Liv Tyler and Tim Roth. The Korean film Killing Romance is set to open the New York Asian Film Festival. The multi-genre plot traces the story of a movie star who plans to kill her rich husband. It's also the final film to be made by Warner Bros. Korea, which closed its production office in the country in 2020. The New York Asian Film Festival will take place between the 14th and the 30th of July. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have ended their contract with Spotify. As a result, Markle's podcast Archetypes will not be returning for a second season. The royal couple had signed a $20 million deal with the music streaming app in 2020. The two are now looking for a new home and partnerships for their content. Cuban singer Gloria Estefan has been inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. With this, the 65-year-old has become the first Latina singer to achieve this feat. The three-time Grammy Award winner said that she feels honored to be able to share her words and music with everyone. K-pop band BTS have unveiled the cover for their upcoming biographical book titled Beyond the Story: 10-Year Record of BTS. The hardcover has a matte blue finish with a jacket photo featuring all 7 members of the boy band. The book has behind-the-scenes anecdotes and their journey to become global pop icons. It'll be available in 23 languages from the 9th of July. Rock musician Jesse Malin has been left paralyzed from the waist down after a rare spinal stroke. In May, he had collapsed at a New York restaurant where he was meeting some friends. He was rushed to the hospital but has been unable to walk since. Malin's manager and fellow artists have launched a donation campaign to help cover his medical expenses. HBO's drama series The Idol may not be renewed for a second season. This is reportedly due to criticism over the show's explicit content. But sources working on the show claim it's because of the behavior of frontman The Weeknd. They allegedly described him as an egomaniac.